Hey all, Matt here with Crypto Blick. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. Well, today we're going to talk about the Ledger Stax and if it's worth it and what my opinion is. And I'm going to point out some things about it that we should consider if we're going to purchase it. So let's hop in and let's make it happen. And with recording this video, I'm enjoying Unshackled. It is from the Prisoner Wine Company. If you've ever had Prisoner or Papillon or Thorn, those are some other fantastic wines. But this one here is a Cabernet. It's from 2019, if you can see that there. But yeah, actually, this is a much better wine when you let it open up. Even whether it's for a couple hours to even a day. I know, shocker, let it open for a day, but it actually tasted better. It had more fruity notes and a little bit more full-bodied after it opened up. When I first had it, it was weak. It was lighter on the nose, and so I would let this one air out, put it in your decanter or something like that. Let it sit in your glass for at least 30 to 45 minutes before trying it. But yeah, this is what I'm enjoying today, and now let's get back to the video. Well, I hope you guys have been having a fantastic Christmas and New Year's, depending on when you watch this video. I apologize for the delay. Part of it is because I wanted to let this new product release marinate and see what others are saying and see what more information is coming out. But then two, I've been busy with turning my space, my house, into a midterm rental. So I've had to put some of the YouTube videos on hold, but that's not why you came here to watch this video. You came to learn about the Ledger Stax. So, and also hear my opinion. And speaking of my opinion, as you guys know, you know that I'm very critical of Ledger products. I tell you, don't sell your crypto or buy your crypto on Ledger Live. The fees are massive. It's not worth it. I use Ledger products to protect and take custody of my own crypto assets. That's what I do. You also know that I'm very critical about the difference between the Nano S and the Nano X or the S Plus, because the Nano S doesn't have a lot of storage. You can hold up to maybe 3 or 4 crypto assets on that product at one time, okay? As opposed to the X or the S Plus, you can hold up to, last time I checked, I said right around 20, possibly. And so, anyways, I don't want to go too deep into that, but what I'm trying to say is you know that I'm very critical about the Ledger products, as I am with anything else that I review or talk about on my channel. So, and speaking of being critical, you know that I'm critical about even the different products with Ledger. For example, I compare the Nano S as opposed to the X or the S Plus. I'm not a fan of the S because it only holds anywhere from about 3 to 4 crypto assets. So you guys know I'm critical about that. The X and the S Plus are much better in terms of storage, not in terms of having, let's say 100 Bitcoin or several thousand Cardano. No, it's as in I can hold Bitcoin, Cardano, Dogecoin, Litecoin. I mean, just pick whatever favorite coin you have and it's supported on Ledger Live. You can put it on pretty much on the X or the S Plus up to about, I like to tell people, up to about 20 applications, okay? The S, just to reiterate again, can only hold up to about 3 or 4. So you know I'm already critical about Ledger's products. I love the Nano X, and I'll get into that more here in a second when we start talking about the Stax. But then also, one thing also was kind of making me be a little cautious before doing a video is that I noticed that a lot of YouTubers, the moment Ledger made the announcement, all these YouTubers like, oh, it's an amazing product. Oh, you gotta buy it. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but oh, you should buy it when it comes out. I'm like, wait a second. If everyone's saying that, I need to be a little more cautious here. I need to do some research because I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon. All right, so let's jump into Ledger's websites, their pages. Let me show you my thoughts. I'll give some examples of my past experience and why I say, hey, don't trust this particular verbiage, or this is a great asset to have on this product on the Ledger Stax. So if that sounds good, let's jump in here and I'll show you real quick here. So we're going to go on their main home screen. Okay, if you go to Ledger Stack, you're going to see just this pre-order button. But before we do that, okay, I will say it is a fantastic looking product, okay? I'm trying to be positive here. All right, you can put your name on there. You can have whatever title that you want. You can see the battery. You can see your NFT in a grayscale image, okay? It's not color, it's grayscale because it's that e-ink, okay? which is great. Awesome. For those of you who want have that customability, that's great, okay? But one of my major concerns here, not concerns, just more of pet peeves, is that it's like an iPhone. I mean, it's smaller than an iPhone, it's more like a credit card. But I don't want to have a credit card size product wherever I have to go. If I'm traveling, if I'm taking it with me, I don't want something this size. So that would be a big one for me that I noticed right away. I'm like, no, I prefer their USB sized products. The X, the S Plus, the S itself. That's what I prefer in terms of size. So that's one of my big critiques right away, okay, is the size of the Ledger Stax, okay? But otherwise, hey, it was designed by a past engineer who worked with Apple. Fantastic. I imagine he is a fantastic individual. He is smart and he knows how to design products. Awesome. But in the end, I personally don't like the size. I'm curious what you guys think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on the size of this thing. If it doesn't bother you, give me your reasons why. I'm curious. So I just prefer the size of the Nano X, like I said, because it's just it's so small. It's much easier to carry with you, to store. If you have multiple of them, it's super easy to leave it in a bag or a waterproof container, something like that. But moving on here. So that's the first image. Let's go ahead and watch the video here. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so it was a pretty epic promotional video, I will say. Very well done, but it's slick marketing. Keep that in mind. Just because it looks fantastic in a video, is that really the type of product you want to buy in terms of functionality and whatnot? All right, and moving on here. So ready to be personalized with your favorite NFT or picture. So just keep in mind, it's not going to be colorized. When you have your NFT as your lock screen, it's going to have this grayscaled image, okay, as they're showing here right now, which I think this is a great way to show it to you. But you guys know, if you've followed any of my videos in the past, I'm not a huge fan of the NFT just market right now, the industry. I will be super excited when I can show my deed to my house, show that I have that ownership of my home, show my title through an NFT to where I can say, hey, here's proof that I own this home. It's verifiable on the blockchain, okay? That is fantastic. That is what I'm looking for. But until that happens, I'm not a fan of just images as NFTs. But the industry has to start somewhere. I know there are plenty of people like Crypto Stash who love NFTs. Follow him if you're big into NFTs, okay, by the way. But anyways, this just shows you your lock screen. Okay, great. You can change the picture on your lock screen. Not super fantastic, in my opinion. But for those of you who like it, great. All right. One thing that I do like here is this whole clear sign and comfort, read, understand, and sign transactions with ease. If you notice over here, it says hold to sign. It's going to have more of the functionality, more of the user friendliness that you'd have with other apps. Like, for example, I use Map My Run for when I run. You hold down on the save button to save your run, has a progress bar. I like that, as opposed to some of the functionality currently with Ledger or Gemini or Coinbase. I do like that idea where you can sign your transactions through the touchscreen on the product, okay? That is, I would say, is a positive that I like in terms of the UX design there. But let's move forward here. Let me just show you a few other slides here that they have. The e-ink touch, so it helps them save battery, by the way, when they do that, and that's why they don't have color right now in terms of the screen. And then also palm size, just showing you the example of how big it is. We already talked about the size. This is just Ledger Live there. Moving forward here. One thing I wanted to point out here, some frequently asked questions. These are great. I get these questions a lot on my channel. Feel free to check them out if you want. The biggest one I want to point out here is the expected delivery date for the Ledger Stax, if I pre-order now, we plan to start shipping Ledger Stax by the end of March 2023. So keep that in mind. If you pre-order now, imagine it to start shipping out at the end of March. I did notice, here's a tip. I did notice with the S Plus that they said about the same thing about the end of March. And actually, they shipped it to me more of like the beginning, middle of March is when I received it. So you never know. I'm not a special affiliate with Ledger. They don't send me products early to try them out and do videos. I'm just like you guys. I pre-order the same way. I buy the same way. So just anyways, want to let you know about, don't expect these until probably the end of March of next year, okay? Or whenever you watch this video. If you watch it in a couple days, it's already going to be 2023. All right, moving forward here. Some other technical specifications. These are the things I have not noticed people talking about recently through some videos and just as they've been commenting of, oh, go out and buy the Ledger Stax. Here are some things I want to point out. All right. So the power and battery section, built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery. I will say that is great. Just like with the X, it does have a rechargeable battery in it. Some people don't like that fact because then they say, well, what if the battery just craps out on me? Will I have to reach out to Ledger to get it replaced? So I get that. I have not had a problem with my Ledger, my Nano X with the battery because, well, I'm not using it every single day. I plug it in, I check in on it, I make sure all my firmware and softwares are up to date, and then I'll transact with it once in a while because I use it as cold storage. That's what I use it for, okay? So, and then also the one thing I do want to point out here that I mentioned as well is the QI wireless charging. I actually think that is a pretty cool idea as opposed to actually having to plug in a cable to charge it from your laptop or your desktop. I think being able to wirelessly charge your product is actually a pretty cool idea. My concern though is, will that crap out on you in 2 years? You know, obviously they do have here a USB-C to USB-C cable right here, guys. And so you can still charge it that way. But just saying, I always think from both sides of the coin here in terms of the wireless charging is fantastic. But then how long will it last? That's my only concern there, okay? Connectivity here. All right. So the next section here is Bluetooth 5.2 to connect to a smartphone. And so that's great. I actually enjoy using the Bluetooth function on my Nano X, but I know a lot of people do not like that aspect when it comes to the Nano X currently on that product. And so those people who are going to have a problem there are going to have a problem with the Bluetooth function on the Stax as well. Do keep in mind, you can shut it off. You can shut it off on the Nano X. More than likely, don't quote me on this, but more than likely you'll be able to shut it off on the Nano Stax as well. But I did want to point that out that there is a Bluetooth feature here, so you then can connect via Bluetooth to your Android and your iPhone, okay? Now, let me stress, connect via Bluetooth. It does not mean that you only have to have Bluetooth to update the firmware and things like that, all right? I did want to point that out. You're still going to have to plug it in to update the firmware on your products, okay? Just because it has Bluetooth doesn't mean you can update it that way. And I will say this is also just for the iPhone. Android, you can do it. I have not done a video on that, but there are videos out there or there are articles out there you can update the firmware through your phone if that's all you have. But for iPhone users, unfortunately, I wish they would fix this. I wish they would somehow talk with Apple and allow us to update the firmware on our products only through our phone. It sucks basically when you have to update through a laptop or a desktop. And then those who are on iPads are screwed. You can't do anything with an iPad. So that is one thing I did want to point out. Just because it says Bluetooth does not mean that you can update everything if you have an iPhone through the iPhone and you're golden. All right. You will have to have a desktop or a laptop to update the firmware. All right. But to trade, to do basic interaction with it, you can do the Bluetooth. All right. System requirements. So basically what I was talking about already, it's compatible with smartphones, iOS 13 Plus and Android 9 Plus. But once again, I want to stress, you're going to have to update the firmware through a cable. You cannot do it through Bluetooth. So I just want to point that out. Just because it's compatible does not mean that all you have to do is have an iPhone and you're golden and you're good to go. No, 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 no. You have to have a desktop or a laptop to update that firmware. Just stressing that because I get so many stinking comments in all my videos of everyone saying, hey, it says it's compatible with an iOS device, but I can't update the firmware. That's why. Just want you guys to know. Also, another big thing, not compatible with Chromebooks. I have people comment on my videos, is this compatible with my Chromebook? Nope. So just make sure that if you buy the Stax, you cannot update it through a Chromebook, okay? Not suitable for mining. I actually had a chuckle at this one. Why is it not suitable for mining? I feel that Ledger may, in a way, be against mining. I don't know. I will say the one way I would say that they'd be against mining is because if you're constantly using the same address to send your payments that you get, your payouts from mining, that hackers will, or at least people will watch that address more closely because they see, oh, constantly getting payments to the same address. And if you want to stay more anonymous or pseudo-anonymous in terms of your crypto transactions, that's maybe why they're saying not suitable for mining. But otherwise, I think it's laughable that they say not suitable for mining. It makes no general sense as to why they have it there. I can be proven wrong, but for right now, I'd be like, no, you can use it for mining. I don't see why not. And then moving on over to digital asset support, kind of going along the same lines of what I was talking about earlier. When it says 500 plus different crypto and token support on Ledger Live app, that doesn't mean you can put 500 plus on your Stax or on your Ledger Nano products. Keep that in mind. It just means we can support over 500 tokens and cryptos, okay? So keep that in mind. Just want to make sure there was no confusion there. Next one, Ethereum and Polygon NFTs supported on Ledger Live app. So if you have something else in terms of an NFT that is on a different blockchain, just keep that in mind. You're only going to be able to use Ethereum and Polygon NFTs, okay? So like I said, I'm not big in the NFT space. If you have something else, consult someone else in terms of the NFT side, but I did want to point that out in case there was something different coming from your position. All right. One other thing here. So then more than 5,000 crypto and tokens and NFTs supported when using a third-party wallet. So there's your solution. If you don't have an NFT that is on Ethereum or Polygon, you can use a third-party wallet through the Stax or say Ledger Live, well, you have to use both in order to protect your NFTs that way, okay? So wanted to point that out in terms of, so there wasn't any mistake going on there. Those are some things I wanted to point out in terms of more of the details behind the product. All right, pre-order your stack today, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's the end of that page there that I wanted to show you. Moving on forward here, here's a blog post about it. I'm not gonna show you that video there. But we're going to move on down here. This was their Ledger Stax NFT bundle. I did want to point out that the mint has ended, okay? And there was this big push when they first announced it back in December that, hey, there's going to be this mint as well. You get this special NFT that you can have on your lock screen, which I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not big into NFTs, but I'm also like, well, it's just a lock screen, all right? Well, the mint's ended, and you can see just under, it's like what, 47, 48% was actually claimed. So that kind of tells you that it wasn't that hot of an item, which I agree. I don't felt like they really advertised it that well. And then also it's like, okay, great. It's just, I imagine the artists are fantastic, but it's just an NFT of artwork. So I know I'm very critical. Forgive me, guys, if that's just like triggering you right now. I will point this out here too. The mint for this project is over. However, you can still purchase a token for redemption on Rarible. So there is a way that you can mint more NFTs, buy on Rarible. You can do it that way. But just want to let you know that this mint has ended for the Ledger Stax. You can see more information here and play the video on those particular NFTs. I'm not going to go into it, but just showing you there. One other thing I wanted to point out here too, that I thought this is key if you got into the NFT space through the Ledger Stax here. So conditional sale. Please note that delivery of the Ledger Stax is conditional upon completion of applicable product certification process. So It has not been fully certified yet, so that's why they're in pre-order stage. Then also, should the product certification not be obtained, Ledger will refund you the purchase price of the Ledger Stax NFT. So they have a way that they will refund you if that happens. But I did want to show you just, hey, keep in mind there's a conditional aspect to this certification process. So just keep that in mind. You have a refund procedure here if you want to check that out. That's just on their blog post that they have back in December. Okay, so just go back there if you want to see more details. And then lastly, on to the price point. So Ledger Stax is right now, of recording this video, is $279. Oh my, that is expensive in my eyes. All right. I thought bumping up the Nano X to $150 is expensive. Now we're basically getting close to double that price point for the Stax. Now, I get it. The Ledger Stax has more functionality. It's touchscreen. It has the e-ink, has the wraparound aspect to the display. So I get that. There's more involved with the product, but still, for a price point of $279, in my case, will I buy one? Yes, I'll buy one for the channel. I will do a review on it for you once I have it in my hands. But if I was like you, man, that price point, that's pretty expensive. I would just go with a Nano X or an S Plus is what I would do, in all honesty. So I know Ledger probably wouldn't like me to say that, but I'm going to, because I am giving my opinion based on if I was a general user. $279 for this thing is not worth it. I don't like the size. There's other things I feel like they should be working on to fix and to upgrade their products, as opposed to pushing out a stackable Stax that is $279 per unit. All right. Wireless charging, we already talked about that. That is pretty cool of a feature. Over 5,000 plus coins supported. Just keep in mind, that's including third-party wallet options. So not options as in terms like trading, but just as in they'll support up to about 500 plus cryptos and assets on the product. But if you want to get that 5,000 plus coins, you have to use a third-party wallet. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And then also keep in mind too, when it says iOS and Android, it doesn't mean that I only have to have an iPhone and I can connect it with a cable and then I can update the firmware. It does not mean that. It means you can utilize an iPhone or an Android to buy or sell. All right. But it doesn't mean you can do everything just from your phone. An Android, you have more flexibility, okay? You can do it on Android. An iPhone, you cannot at this time. So I wanted to reiterate that point there because so many people ask me on my other videos, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, they're trying to upsell you here while you wait for your Ledger Stax. I would just buy the Nano X if I were you, or the Nano S Plus. All right, moving forward here, built for clarity. We don't need to go over that. One other thing here, wireless charging, one less cable to carry around. I do agree that is fantastic. Multiple embedded magnets. I thought this is actually kind of funny. They're trying to upsell this product. The click you hear when stacking your Ledger Stax devices, that's the sound of security. You serious? Like magnetics clicking, sound of security? No. Stop with that BS marketing, okay? That marketing BS, no, I don't care about that. Cool that you can stack them, but to have that as a feature, that's not a feature. Come on, moving on. All right. We already went over these other specs here. Those are just other blog posts. Still one thing, ending the end of March, so shipping at the end of March. I will say, but then also keep in mind, if you scroll up to the top here, it says estimated shipping by April of 2023. So most likely, I think that's a contradiction. They should fix that. But I would say just expect it April. Don't expect until April to get it shipped to you. So that is my thoughts there on the shipping side as well. So guys, all in all, I was very critical of the Ledger Stax, okay? Yes, the price point is $279. I don't think that is a worthwhile price point for what you're getting. Doesn't make sense. Why? Just buy the Nano S Plus or the Nano X, okay? The touch screen where you can customize the lock screen, you can add an NFT in a grayscale mode and have your name on it. I don't care for that. And then also, they still have not gotten Apple to allow them to update the firmware through the cable or through Bluetooth, anything like that. So really, people on the iPhone are still screwed in that regard. You still have to have a laptop or desktop. So all in all, I'll buy the product. I'll do a video on it for you. But all in all, I'm just going to tell you guys, go buy the Nano X or the S Plus. I'll put those links in the description below. It helps support the channel. But I mean, really, buy it at your own leisure if you want, but I would go with the Nano X or the S Plus. That is my honest opinion. That is my review on the Ledger Stax. If you disagree with me or if you agree with me, put a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions on the product, maybe we can hash it out together. Maybe we can find some common ground. Maybe, I imagine I could be taught a thing or two about the product, but until then, I'm not going to buy the Ledger Stax in terms of general use. I'll buy it for the channel, but that's about it for right now. So anyways, guys, so I hope you liked this video. I hope it made sense to you. I hope it provided some insight. Like the video so other people know that this is worthwhile. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.